Good afternoon, friends. Hope we're all having a wonderful, fantastic Saturday. Welcome in. You've made it to the weekend. Hello. Mel and I have a great, exciting podcast for you today. It's been a hot minute since we've had our last episode, so we are reviving the podcast. We do plan to have these every Saturday. May have to skip a couple Saturdays here and there, but I think that is the plan going forward. Today, we're going to be talking about childhood memories. I'm very excited. We have some great stuff planned for you, and I cannot wait to have this revival with all of you. But hello, Raven. Good. It's really late for you. I was about to say good morning, but it's not quite there yet. No. It's like very late in the evening. Isn't it? You don't say. It's 1 a.m., so just past midnight. Oh, stars. You sure are up late. We're just gonna wait here a moment until Mel is done with her intro. And then we will hop in together. Looks like she's ready. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. All right.
Here we go.
We are here. We are existing. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just telling my chat a little bit about what we had planned tonight.
Oh, Merida is putting in her own 2 cents.
Of course she is.
Yeah? Yeah? Uh-huh. Okay. She's fine. She says we may proceed.
Okay, perfect.
We have the cat's permission. We're good to go.
Woohoo!
Okay.
Look at that.
Okay. What?
Turn this down just a smidgen. Here we are. Okay. The floor is yours, unless you want to introduce a little bit about what's going on your stream for tonight.
Well, Alexa and I have this issue where we plan to do something, and then for the life of us can't come up with a concrete plan.
This is true.
And we struggle with that portion of the planning, is the actual planning.
Yeah.
And so we sat there for a good half an hour trying to think about what the hell are we going to talk about for the return of the podcast. And we decided on childhood memory.
Yeah.
And talking about times from our childhood. So I told her that I had a really funny one that some people have heard before, to at least start it off. And it's from toddlerdom. So we're talking like
Small Mel.
small Mel, not even in pre-K yet. We're talking like getting ready for pre-K small Mel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So you might have heard this story before, Alexa.
I might have.
I don't know if you've ever heard the full story.
Well, we are now.
So, Small Mel had this thing where she's very easily influenced by her big sister.
Mm-hmm.
And keep in mind that the difference in age between me and my half sister, my biological sister, is 7 years. Exactly, Raven. So my sister was just like, I can make an impression on this tiny child and drive our father insane.
Oh no.
And my mother, her stepmother. And so she told me that it would be funny if whenever I got in trouble, you know, the typical generation of our parents was typical punishment was just to spank. Right?
Yeah.
Well, my sister said Dad would find it so funny if the next time he has to spank you, you laugh. And I was like, okay. And so I did. I don't even know what I got in trouble for. But I laughed when Dad tried to discipline me. And my dad was so bewildered that I was not in trouble anymore because he just could not believe I just laughed. And so this became a trend of you can't spank Mel anymore because she will just laugh because she has realized it gets her out of punishment.
Oh my god.
And so when it came time to Tiny Mel needs to be ready to be at school for half of the day, and therefore cannot be in diapers anymore. My parents learned real quickly how stubborn I was because I did not want to potty train. And they had to resort to other methods. And at the time, we had a cat and a dog. Okay? Had this big, beautiful Doberman, and then a little cat that Mom called Caesar. Caesar is one of those hairless cats, right? So we had Caesar, and Caesar hated water, absolutely despised it. And so I would watch Caesar run around and get in trouble, and he would he would get sprayed with a spray bottle, right? My parents learned very quickly that I would also run away whenever the spray bottle was brought out because I thought if the cat's running away, I should run away too. I don't know. My tiny ADHD brain was a very weird place to be, and a lot of things that I did didn't make sense. So I thought water bottle meant run away. My parents had to resort to spraying me with a water bottle to get me to potty train so I could go to preschool.
That takes on the whole meaning of the spray bottle emote you have, doesn't it?
That's why I was like, that's like when yep, I am essentially a cat.
That's true.
I am basically just a cat in human form. This is why I was laughing so hard and I was like, we have to do this emote, was because of also the personal story it had for me.
Oh my god. I love that.
I am cat. But yes, toddler me got disciplined with a water bottle instead of traditional methods.
Man, I'd take a water bottle over a belt.
Right?
That's fucking funny.
I was not a normal child in any sense of the word.
And I love that for you.
Not normal at all.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. I had prepared a couple memories They're a little bit older though.
Okay.
And I feel like they're all just like, not all of them, but like the one that I had in mind was just like embarrassing moment from middle school.
Okay.
Of which I had a couple. I was telling you about one of them, during your stream earlier today, but I have another one in mind. Almost all of these things happened to me in like 7th grade. 7th grade was like, I don't know.
That was the year.
That was the year that did me in.
It was your annus horribilis.
It was, well, it was the year that I'd moved away, and so like a lot of like traumatic things happened to me, whether it was like actually traumatic or not, but you know, in the sense of the word, to little Alexa was like, this is traumatizing.
Yep.
And one of them gained me a new nickname for a couple months. So for a little context, for those of you who weren't already aware, Alexa was a choir kid. And it was, oh no, so I lied. This is 6th grade. So when I was getting ready to start middle school, they were in the process of trying to figure out classes that summer, and for a small period of time they had lost the choir teacher. I think she'd either moved schools or something, and they didn't have a replacement, so they were just not gonna have choir. And they had already like given the room away to somebody else because there wasn't really like a dedicated space that was like strictly for choir. They only had space for band. Mind you, this middle school I went to was originally like the original high school when this town was built. Like, it's old.
Okay.
Okay. And so it's got all of its fun twists and turns. It's not like any newfangled school you find where they're all the same circle shape in the middle.
Right.
Where everything's easily navigatable. Anyway, so when they did find a replacement teacher, we no longer had a place to practice. So my year of choir, in 6th grade, was spent in the corner of the cafeteria, because that was the only place that they could find for us to have class. We only had the one choir.
Oh my gosh.
They put the and I kid you not, there was only 12 of us. Like,
yeah, there were 15 in mine.
We were a very small choir. But it was like just enough to be like, well, this has to be a class, I suppose. And so they stuck us in the corner of the cafeteria with like sad stand upright piano that had seen better days.
Yeah.
The reason this is important is because when standardized testing came around, it was being completed in the cafeteria. So we were homeless for a week. So they let us borrow one of the classes of one of the math classes that were having standardized tests that week. We went to one of their classrooms for the week, which worked out because we had a test and we were going over the answers to it. And me, being the smart aleck, was the only one that aced her music test. Yes, there are tests in choir. And it was on like note notations.
Oh yeah.
My music keeps dying on me, and I'm gonna get really mad, just like it was the other night. Anyway, so I went up to the board because there was one question that only I got right. So she's like, Alexa, do you want to show how we all got this right? And it's math, so of course I got it right.
Yeah.
So I'm explaining how that all works on the board, and then I come to sit back down, and my friends, because this entire choir is just like my friend group, it's great. My friend Sierra thought it would be so funny if she held a freshly sharpened pencil on my chair, just to see what my reaction would be. Now, what she did not realize is that Alexa does not look before she sits down. Hasn't ever needed to. And she was not quick enough to move the pencil away before I sat down. So I sat down, and we're talking like number 2 traditional, like, wood pencil, freshly sharpened, that I just sat down on.
Oh, God.
And it took her, like, a couple seconds to be able to, like, pull it away after I sat on it. And so now I'm, like, here, and I squeaked, because I didn't know how else to react. Tears are now streaming down my face, but I'm, like, trying to be quiet because we're talking. My teacher looks at me, and it's just like, Alexa, don't interrupt class. Like, what is going on? And I'm just like, it's fine. I'm sorry. Sure enough, Sarah and I have PE after this. So we're going to go get dressed down, and she takes a look at me because it pierced a good chunk of the way, so there's just like this big red spot on my underwear. And even after everything's all said and done, and she apologized a million times, there was a like silver gray dot on my ass for like 4 weeks before it finally went away.
No.
And so she thought that was just the funniest thing since comedy was invented, and called me pencil butt for like 3 months, even though it was her own doing. And everyone just thought it was so funny. I can laugh, and it's funny now, but it was not funny then. And so that's one of the traumatic stories I have with pencils. I've been stabbed with multiple types of writing implements. That was the first.
Here's my question to lead into the next story that I've thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever gotten detention?
Technically not. I wouldn't call it detention, so I'd say no.
Okay, so I did.
I can't imagine that.
Which, exactly. Everyone I tell this story to, they're like, there's no way you ever got detention. I got detention, and here's the story about it. Because it never went on my record that I had ever gotten a detention.
Ooh.
And here's why. So this was in 6th grade, I think.
Middle school, baby.
Middle school, baby. We jumped from 4 to 12.
Yeah.
So, 11, something like that. Anyway, I was in middle school, and the teacher had gotten so tired of listening to how loud the cafeteria was that she literally told us all we had to be silent for the rest of lunch.
Oh shit.
I don't know what her problem was that day, but she had an issue with all of us talking. And so we all had to be quiet. Well, you know me. I fidget. I have ADHD. I can't sit still. Mm-hmm. I can't be silent when I'm told to be.
Nar.
And so, I had, like, leaned over to tell my friend that was next to me, like, whisper something to him, because I had a question for him. And I knew that if I didn't ask him at that point, I was going to forget, and it was an important question about something we were doing later that day. Well, one of the kids went and tattled on me.
Oh my
One of our classmates. Literally got up and went and told the teacher that I was talking. All I did was whisper 5 words.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the teacher decided she was giving me a detention for it.
Oh my god.
And so I went to detention after school. You know, they called my mom, and my mom's like, well, that's a stupid reason to have detention, but I can't tell you no, so guess you're going to detention. And I'm like, okay, so I just took my homework with me, and I started doing detention.
Yeah, like
the principal comes into the room to ask the teacher a question, and I knew the principal very well. Wasn't like family friends or anything like that. I was just, he knew I was one of the good kids.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of those professors that actually supported music, or one of the teachers that actually supports music and came to every choir concert.
Yeah.
So I knew him pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes in and he looks at me, he goes, Melissa, what are you doing in here? And I was like, I got detention for talking at lunch. And he just kind of gives me a look. He's like, explain? So I elaborated to him that I was trying to ask my friend a question about him coming home to my house later that day because my mom was babysitting him until him and his little sister until their mom got off of work. And I needed to ask him a question about where, like a time frame kind of thing. And I said I knew if I didn't ask him right then, I would forget, and then it was going to affect the rest of our day. And he just looks at me, and he looks at the teacher, and then he looks back at me, and he goes, go call your mom to come pick you up. I went, okay. And he turned to the teacher, and he goes, scratch it off her record. There's no reason for her to have a detention for that. So my principal himself was just like, no, that's stupid. You're not having a detention.
Oh my god. I love that.
I was just like, okay. Went home. I was only there for like 5-8 minutes tops. I answered like maybe 2 questions off my homework.
Oh my god. That's so funny.
But getting a detention for talking during lunch.
That's kind of crazy.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Oh. So that happened. You never got a detention.
No, surprisingly. I know.
You goody two-shoes.
I was a rebel who obeyed the rules.
Okay, so what I have to ask, what's the most rebellious thing you did as a teenager?
Oh, that's a good question.
That fits within TOS.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, I can tell you, I already have mine.
Maybe you tell yours, and I will think of mine.
Okay, mine's not even that bad as a thing. Like, I literally was such a goody two-shoes in school. And just at home in general to my parents. My sister and my step-siblings make the joke of I am the golden child of the 6 of us. Because I've never gotten in trouble with the law. I've never gotten arrested. I've never done drugs. I've never, drank. I've never, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I've never done anything. In essence, I was boring as a teenager, but I was a gamer and a reader. Yeah. What was I gonna do? Right?
Right.
Well, my parents got divorced when I was 14. Hilariously enough, their divorce got finalized on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
I remind my father of that fact every Valentine's Day.
Oh my god.
And his current wife finds it hilarious.
Well, good.
And so, I'm 14. My parents are divorced. I'm living with my mom. My dad's coming off the road as a trucker because of health issues. But I mostly lived with my mom, and I had up until the time she passed. And so, and you hit teenage years. If it's a boy, they're gonna argue with their dad. If it's a girl, they're gonna argue with your mom. My mom and I were constantly butting heads. And so, the thing about me, and Alexa, you'll be very aware with this. My grandmother, Grandma May, everyone knows Grandma May, likes to say that I am my father with boobs.
Mm-hmm.
I am the female version of my father. And so that also includes his personality. I'm very much like my father in terms of personality, especially humor. And it drove my mom up the wall. And so there was one time where she and I were arguing. Don't remember about what anymore. It's probably something really stupid. But she said, "You're so much like your father, it infuriates me sometimes." And I opened my big mouth. And I said, "Well, you didn't think you actually got rid of him when you divorced him, did you?" That was also the only time in my life I ever got grounded.
Oh my god, wait, seriously?
I got grounded for saying that. It's the only time in my life I ever got grounded, but it was for saying that to my mom's face.
Oh my god. I got grounded all the time. Damn.
I told you, I was a good kid. I read books, I played games, I did my homework, I didn't do any shit.
Damn. No, see, I got grounded. I mean, I say a lot. It was like an okay amount. Like, it wasn't excessive.
The standard amount.
Yeah, just like, I don't know. Like, maybe once or twice a year. Maybe. If that. I never got grounded, but it was because I never left my room anyway. So it's great. Oh no, Raven.
I feel that, Raven. I feel that.
So, my parents had the kind of parenting style of, you have a lot of freedom, but with that freedom comes responsibilities.
Oh, yeah.
Of which all of my other friends did not. You know, they were like, you can't go down past the street, or you can't go, like, if you can't see the yard, you've gone too far, kind of thing. And my parents are like, you can go anywhere in town as long as you come home before the streetlights come on. Like, for the longest time, I had a digital watch that had, like, pre-programmed alarms in it by my dad. And so when that alarm went off, I needed to come home. That did not mean that I couldn't be done playing for the day, but I needed to come home and check in. Usually that meant, like, that was going to be dinner time, and then I could ask if I wanted to go hang out longer, and then we'd do it again, or whatever. Because this was before I had a phone. And then after I got the phone, it was, like, just check in every time that you leave a location. So if I went into town with some of my friends, during middle school, I'd be like, okay, we just made it to, Safeway. We're picking up some snacks. Okay, now we're at the movie theater. I'll let you know when the movie's over.
Right.
Like, this is stuff that, like, for the most part, until, like, probably this last year, was stuff I still did. I'd be like, hey, Mom, I'm going out with so-and-so today. I'll be back home around this time. Like, even if I'm not living in her house anymore, like, I still did that just so that she knew where the fuck I was. Just because,
gosh.
I don't want my parents to worry. Now, I'm just like, I mean, I'm either here or I'm at work, let's be honest. And Mom knows where both of those locations are, so we're fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, even then, I'd still be like, oh, Chelsea and I are gonna go out for lunch today, or whatever. It's just something that's instilled in me. And, the one thing I think that was, rebellious for me is the one thing I didn't get in trouble for. Because they never found out. when we had moved into the duplex that we lived in until I had graduated high school, my ex and I were still together, obviously. Though the story does not involve him. I had a couple friends who would want to, like, hang out into the wee hours of the night or whatever. And so I finally worked up the courage to sneak out of the house to go and hang out with them because they could drive. And so
You're one of those kids.
I wasn't often. Now, mind you, I did this like a handful of times.
Right.
But I think probably the most rebellious of them all was the one time that I had snuck out of the house, and like when I tell you I had crawled out of my window, snuck out of the house. So the way that this duplex was built, it was a 2-story house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you share just the one wall between the two buildings. So not quite like yours where there's one dwelling underneath and one dwelling on top. These ones are side by side.
Okay.
And so you would enter on the second floor, and that was where all of the living, dining, kitchen, all of that was, and a bathroom. And then you would go downstairs, and that was where all the bedrooms were. And I was about to say the laundry, but no, that was upstairs. But there was also like storage and all that stuff downstairs.
Right.
So because of that, it was just because of the way that the plot of land was, and so it would make this like steep downcline into more ground. So that's why you'd enter on the second floor.
Why do I feel like I know how this is gonna end?
But so there's not a whole lot of space. Like there wasn't a whole lot of maneuvering that needed to be done to get out of my window because it was right there on the ground floor. And the thing that my parents have also never realized or factored in was that the screen on my bedroom window was already broken when we moved in. Like it just kind of barely sat there. So if I wiggled it just right, it would pop right off. And I could put it right back on. So
oh my god.
I would pop out the screen a little bit. I'd put it down on the ground. I would maneuver, because it's one of those windows that slides sideways. It doesn't slide up and down. It slides left and right.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was able to just like bloop, bloop, step right out like it was no big deal. Close it back up. But leave just a little bit so that I could open it again.
Right.
And then off I went. I also left a stick outside to take care of all the spider webs, because it was kind of this like small alleyway essentially that I would take to get to the stairs that would get me back up to the top. And my friend came and picked me up in his car, and we drove up to the high school, and because there was this big like nature park. It was right outside the school, but we parked on school grounds, and had walked through the entrance that's technically right off of the school. So we did technically trespass on school grounds, but we weren't there very long. And we'd hung out in the park after he had like essentially like brought this like picnic of just random ass junk food. And we just like talked for hours and had all these snacks. And then he had also helped me, because he was just like, I want to show you this really cool spot in the school. I'm like, okay, sure. So we'd gone onto the field. Mind you, I I'd say a nicer town. I feel like I went to school with lots of rich people. It wasn't actually that way, but like definitely more
You
well
got
off.
that aura.
Yeah, definitely more well off kids
Uh-huh.
and well off school district.
Uh-huh.
So we had a very nice field with this big, like covered, like grandstands. And he knew where to access to get on top of the roof of the grandstands. So we'd gotten up onto the roof of the grandstands, and you could see, because this town was made on like a giant hill, right? And so the high school's down at the base of it, but there's still more of the town to be seen. And so from the top of the grandstands, you could see all of the rest of the town down on the bottom of the hill. And it was so cool. And then we looked at the time, and it was nearing 3 a.m. I said, "Oh shit, I gotta get home." Because my dad's alarms would start at 3:30.
Oh.
Because my dad worked at 4 a.m. at the time. Because of his job. So we had to book it back home. And I crawled back in through the window like nothing happened.
Wow.
I don't think that they ever found out. They never said anything to me if they did. But I'd snuck out of the house probably another 8 or 9 times in between then. Just for different reasons. Never of them were to see my boyfriend, though. I think that's the funniest thing. Because he was more goody two-shoes than I was. And did not want to. I think the only time that, like, I feel like I got away with something was the one time I used Chelsea as a cover-up. My best friend. After graduation and everything. And I told Mom that I had stayed the night at her place. When I actually stayed the night at Miles's.
Oh.
We didn't do anything, like we just hung out. And I fell asleep. It was very boring. Because it was his mom's apartment. She didn't even know I was there.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
And the one time that, like, she'd come to, like, talk to him, I was in the bathroom. So she just, like, deadass didn't even know I was there. I wasn't trying to hide from her at all, but it was just the fact...
You were just actually going to the bathroom.
It was just... Actually, the timing was really funny.
That is great. Wow.
And his sister was in her bedroom, so, like, she wouldn't have known any of the wiser that someone was in the bathroom that shouldn't have been.
Oh my gosh.
There's little things like that, but, like, no, I didn't technically, like, break any laws or do anything that's, like, actually rebellious.
I didn't do this, but this is a funny story about my sister.
Wait, before you
she
do.
lived...
Raven wrote something, and I hadn't had a chance to read it.
Yes.
One of my favorite moments back when this was this. My dad loved to just check on me in my room. Needless to say, I hated it. Once he came in the, like, 6th time that evening, I was in TeamSpeak playing some shooter with the boys. The door opened, and I see his face going, "What?" He replies, and I see his face going, "What?" He replies, "Just looking." So I go, "Well, there's the door. Now get lost." And everyone in TeamSpeak asked who was that, which I replied, "Just my dad." Everyone in unison in shock went, "This is how you talk to your dad?" So I just replies, "He needs it like that." That's great! Oh my god, if I talk to my dad that way, oh my god.
Oh god, I would have gotten, like, skin alive, man.
I know. I mean, like, my dad's sweet. He's like a teddy bear, but, like...
Oh, so's mine.
But if you yeah, if you use the wrong tone, or if you fucked up, Mar, you don't want to be anywhere near that.
Thing. My dad was a huge teddy bear, but he was a hardened trucker for a dozen years, and he was also a Navy brat. So like, you don't mess with him. He was scary when he was mad, kind of like I am.
Yes. And
Alexa would know. So it wasn't at her. She's just happened to be in the crossfire. Okay, so this is a better story. Alexa, you've heard this one before, I think. My dad, because of being raised as a Navy brat, hates being called sir.
Oh, yeah.
Just really hated the whole sir, ma'am concept kind of thing. And so none of us kids were allowed to call him sir or call our mother ma'am. And it was so funny. So one day, after my parents got divorced, I would go see my dad like every other weekend, right? Typical parental agreement kind of thing. Well, in the summers, I would go for a week every month. And so I was up there for one of the summers, and it was the summer between my junior and senior year, I believe. And Dad was like, when you're up here, you have to help out with the chores and such, you know, because you're living here for that time. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's understandable. Yeah. And so he asked me, he's like, can you go take out the trash? I said, yes, sir, not thinking about it. Oh. And he goes, don't call me sir. And so I said, yes, ma'am. And then I bolted out the room.
I forgot about that.
I went and took out the trash, you know, like I was told to. I come back. My brother is smirking, still playing his game, but smirking. Just at his computer. My dad is cackling with laughter. Still, like, he was to the point where tears were running down his face. And he goes, you're not even in trouble. That was fucking funny. I said, cool. And then I sat back down and went back to what I was doing. But yeah, I got away with calling my dad ma'am, and
that's so funny. Oh, man.
I'm quick-witted sometimes.
You are.
I was even worse as a kid.
Yeah. Raven said if my dad ever would have hit me, I'd have spun on the spot for about 5 minutes until dropping dead, probably. He was a beast who wielded a sledgehammer, who could level a brick wall in one fell swoop. He would never, and I took full advantage of that, especially when he proceeded to tick me off with the stuff he knew he was pushing, that he knew he was pushing my buttons. Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm telling you. Whew. My dad's a hoot. I mean, it was to the point where, like, I have little to no shame or humility because of being raised by my dad. So that's why I can be such a good teacher. I have no humility. I'll do the stupidest things in front of my kids and I won't give a damn.
Yummy.
Hey, Squid!
The man has biceps the size of my thighs. Oh my god. That's terrifying.
That is terrifying.
See, my and the reason I like mentioned that like dad's a teddy bear is because like he's round. Like he's not the most fit, but like he's not unfit either. Like
he's just a little chubby?
He's just, you know,
typical dad bod.
Typical dad bod, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it never ceases to amaze me when I have people talk about how terrifying he is. Growing up, there was multiple instances where I had guy friends who would finally meet him, and they were absolutely terrified. And I just can't for the life of me see how. Like, I look at my dad and I'm just like, that's a teddy bear. Like, there's... like, my dad can be scary, but just based on his looks and his mannerisms, I don't see that. Like, when my dad's mad, obviously I'm terrified. Rightfully so. But not when he's just like, not when he's just like nonchalant and just, I don't know, answering the door. Your dad will be interesting. I think so.
I cannot wait to hear that story.
No. I think the most prominent one for me was I was in high school and one of one of my guy friends, it was one of my ex's friends that we just kind of become close with, was coming to pick me up, to take me back to his place, because it was poker night. I was the only female invited to poker night. I felt very special. Poker night was usually always just the guys. Did I know how to play poker? Absolutely not. But I was about to learn! And so I was excited. Mom and I were coming home from shopping that day. And I get a text from Zach, the person who was gonna pick me up, and he's just like, "Hey, Alexa, will you let me know when you're home?" I'm like, "Yeah," because Miles had already told him to come and pick me up, apparently. And so I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, my mom and I are just on our way. We'll be like another 5-10 minutes. I'll let you know when I'm home." He's like, "Okay, cool." So apparently, he tells me when I do finally get home and he comes and picks me up. On the drive back to his place, because he was on the other side of town, he proceeds to recount what had just happened, because Miles had told him, "Oh, yeah, can you go and pick her up?" Him, I guess, not realizing that I hadn't been home yet. So he drives up to my place and goes to knock on the door, and of course my dad answers. He's the only one home. And he's just like, "Can I help you?" And, like, the fear that instilled in this boy just was apparently astounding. He's like, I'm here to pick up Alexa. And he's like, "She's not home. Can I help you?" Like, doesn't know who this person is because I've never introduced him before. There wasn't, I hadn't had the time to yet. And so on our way back, he's just like, "Please never leave me alone with your father ever again. That was terrifying." And I'm just laughing my ass off. I'm like, "How were you terrified of my dad?" He's like, "You don't understand." I said, "No, I don't. Make me understand."
He is Teddy Bear. How is that terrifying?
I don't get it. And he's just like, "No, like he's scary."
It's just like the aura of a father.
I guess. I don't know. I was just like, I don't understand. But that was like the fourth time that he had just scared some random boy. And like all my girlfriends are just like, "Yeah, no, your dad's chill." Like, none of us will ever understand how he scared all these boys.
I think it's probably like the concept of, you're a dad to a young girl.
I guess.
And a boy her age shows up, regardless of the fact if your daughter already has a partner.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have to show dominance as the man of the house.
I guess. Apparently, my dad just existing exudes dominance. I don't fucking know. Like, he wasn't even trying! Like, he just answered the fucking door, because I asked him, I'm like, "What did you say to Zach, Dad?" He's like, "I just asked what he was doing here. I didn't know him." I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's my friend Zach." He's like, "Okay, glad to meet him." He seemed a little skittish, though.
See, most people never reacted about that to my dad because everyone knew my dad was Teddy Bear.
Right.
Everyone reacted about that to my brother. My brother is this, like, 6 foot something, full beard, just jacked up guy because he goes to the gym. And he's very aloof And part of that is because of his autism. He just has that appearance of aloofness.
Yeah.
But he also has a mean RBF.
Oh.
Mean bitch face,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Of just, like, don't fucking approach me.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe my dad has RBF, too.
And so... I remember one time during choir, my brother was very good about it. Like, he did not do well with crowds, but he would not miss any of my choir performances.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very good brother. And I go and I give him a hug at a choir performance. I come back and sit down, and one of the guys goes, Mel, who did you just hug? I was like, oh, it's my brother. And they're like, that's your brother? I was like, yeah. And they're like, he's terrifying. I was like, you kidding me? He couldn't hurt a fly. Literally. This man will find a bug in the house. It doesn't matter what kind of bug it is. He will catch it and relocate it outside.
I can see that. Absolutely, I can see that.
Yep.
Raven says, my biggest advantage over him was that he would exert all of his power at once. But his endurance was shoddy at the very best. I could have outrun him easily, and in my formative years, my dad had fattened up considerably, but the muscles were still there, just covered in mounds of lard.
You know,
Not
my choir
lard.
teacher used to make the joke that she's like, us singers have the best abs. They're just hidden underneath all of the fat to protect them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Clearly there's a six-pack under here somewhere.
Clearly, it's just hiding.
I just gotta find it somewhere. Oh my goodness. Segueing back to younger years, I think. I did finally think of a story for my baby Alexa years, not even toddler, baby.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if I've ever talked about it in chat. You know this story. It's about how I have the burn on my hand.
Oh yeah!
Yeah. This is the reason why I'm terrified of anything that produces heat. Or fire. In general. I have a couple scars. One of them, most notably, is on my right hand. It takes up, like... Not the lawn chair.
Not the lawn chair!
One of them most notably takes up well, it's not as big as it used to be, but it's probably a good, like, fourth of the back of my palm on my right hand. And that is because I was a very curious, very fat baby. Like, I had, like, rolls of chub. You know, most babies do. But, like, I was a hefty baby, I'm aware. And so at about 6 months, and mind you, I don't remember any of this. This is just all recounted to me, both from Grammy's point of view and Mom's point of view. Putting the story together. My parents had finally gone out on a date. I want to say it was for their anniversary. After finally having me, and Grammy was babysitting me. And she was doing, I don't even remember, like, what time of day it was, or whatever. She was doing her hair. And she had a curling iron clipped in, like, just heating up.
Oh no.
And I, being a very curious... Thank you. Very curious, chubby child, crawled over to it and start pulling on the cord. And, of course, because it's kind of like resting on the edge, it falls. And it snaps closed on my hand, on, like, a fold of skin, and it just, like, stuck there. Now, mind you, because I have so much skin and there's just so much going on, I apparently didn't feel it. I didn't seem to be in any pain whatsoever. Grammy hadn't noticed what was happening yet because she was, you know, I don't even know what she was doing. I think she was doing her makeup or something. And so I looked up at her and went, eh, and lifted my hand up to show her. Like, this thing's on me. Can you maybe get it off? And then she freaks, calls 911, like it's a whole fucking big ordeal. She's just like, oh god. I've ruined my only daughter's child. I don't, you know, there's no pain or anything to it, but it was a second-degree burn, so it definitely mangled up the skin there. To the point where it usually gets, like, if I'm sunburnt at all on my arms, it'll get more burnt faster than any of the rest of my skin. So I can tell when that part of my skin's starting to get red that I should probably, like, cool it or get inside somehow. Because, like, the rest of my skin's gonna start burning after that. So it's like, it's a good indicator. And the other one was, I guess that the next one is toddler. Dumb. You know, I'm walking. We were camping. Big camping family. I was walking over to Mom. I don't remember, I was wanting to show her something, I think. We were at one of those, like, state parks, and so it's got the, you know, like, built into the ground fire pits that has the, like, rack that you can flip up and over to, like, make more space underneath. It's like, normally if you put it down, it's to grill on. Right. But it was one of those bigger ones that would reach all the way to the ground. And obviously, because there's fire and that's bright and everything else around me is dark, I didn't see it. And so when I was trying to go talk to my mom, I tripped over it and fell and had grazed the same arm, but more like on my forearm, onto the edge of the fire pit. I was only there for a couple seconds. Dad then scooped me up and was like, "Nope, you're fine." And there is a scar. I can't see it unless I get a tan or I'm burnt. Because that portion of my skin does not tan or burn. It stays white. And that's the only time that I can tell that it's even there or had any remnants of it. So, like, this is why I don't use hair dryers. This is why I don't use my hair straightener or anything. The only ones that I use are these, like, tiny little travel ones that Mom had gotten for me forever ago. And the only reason I used the hair dryer at that point was to dry my paint. Because I was impatient. You know, I'll eventually learn how to use a hair dryer, but until then, I'm just not a fan of heating elements. Kawama! Oh, Raven said some more things. Let me read this real quick. I need one of those real men RBF to put up when I'm out. Every fucking person in search of info always approaches me. Like, I'm minding my own fucking business going from A to B with freaking headphones in on full blast, and someone passes like 10 people to stop and ask me for fucking directions. A guy who knows how he gets from point A to B, but has no fucking clue where anything outside of his immediate travel route. Like, why the fuck is everyone approaching me?
You must just look approachable, dude.
Squid said maybe because you're hot. And he says it's definitely not. I'm hardly outstanding apart from being tall, 6'4". Everything else is hardly worth talking about. Not negative, but also not positive. I exist in the limbo of being nondescript NPC guy.
Oh my god.
Not calling yourself an NPC? Help! Squid says, crazy how Raven just denied a compliment. I'm just not hot, Squid, and I've been told my music needs to stop fucking dying or I'm gonna have issues. Been told by so many people as well, like, I'm easy on the eyes, I'm just in no way outstanding besides being tall, and you wouldn't even recognize that until I'm mere inches away from you, because my proportions just don't make me seem as tall as I am. I mean, I've seen your face. Proportions... I disagree. You are a nice-looking man. So, take that as you will. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I haven't, but I agree.
You can.
I have intuition.
He put a selfie in my selfies chat many moons ago.
Hi. Meredith's glaring.
Easy on the eyes? Yeah. Hot? Nah. Listen, I don't know what to tell you. I don't find most men hot, I will be honest. Squid, that's an exception, obviously. But, like... Because Squid is hot. But... I don't usually say most men are, because... I don't know, that's just how my brain works. Women are hot. Mel, hot. Gorgeous. Beautiful.
Don't put me into this.
See, it is so cute when she hides her face.
We had a discussion a long time ago. Like, in the first couple of months of our friendship. Not join this chat to get compliments. We had a conversation, like, the first couple of months into our friendship. Keep in mind, we've known each other for several years now.
Yes.
But we came to the conclusion very quickly that had I ever turned out to not be straight, we would immediately get together. Because it just worked.
Yes.
So, watch it, Squid.
I'm doing the big nod.
Oh my god. This is why I say she's my girlfriend first.
See, we are platonic soulmates. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's my platonic girlfriend. And then I have Pirate, my wife, and then Pirate also has her boyfriend. And it all works!
It all works out great. Quid said I'm willing to fight for Alexa's love. That is so sweet.
It's corny as fuck.
I love it though. And Raven says, don't try to weasel yourself out of it while calling others out on that, Squid.
Yeah, Squidward!
You can't get out of that, Squiddy.
Oh my god.
It's only corny if we take this fight to Iowa.
Alright, I got a cornfield in my backyard, let's go!
Yeah. Let me just quickly, power up the old transporter.
Transport the two of you here to Iowa.
Yeah. Squid and me derailing the podcast.
That's fine. It was going to get derailed at some point.
Yeah. Knowing between the two of us, I'm surprised it hadn't
yet. Yeah. I'm surprised we stayed mostly on topic for an hour.
I know. I'm very proud of ourselves.
It's a new record, Alexa!
Normally I would have went on some crazy-ass tangent at this point.
Oh.
Let's see. What other fun stories do I have?
I do have a story, though, tying into all that.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm ready.
It's about the Québécois.
Ah, yes.
My mother, for some reason, twice in my life, was convinced I was a lesbian. Now, here's the story behind this. One of my high school friends, she and I were very close. I had a crush on one of her brothers for a bit, but we don't talk about that. But she and I were very close. Like, she's still one of my best friends. Yeah. In fact, I had her over for the fireworks earlier this week, right? Mm-hmm. So, we hung out so much and so often during high school that one day my mom just flat out asked me, she's like, "Are you and her a thing?" And I was like, No. Why would you ask that? Keep in mind, I had not been very exposed to Legitimaquah yet because I grew up in conservative Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
However,
We went Russian
my
there for a
parents
minute.
raised me. Huh?
We went Russian there for a minute.
Sorry. But my parents wouldn't have cared either way. Anyway, but so we had that, and then when I was at uni, I was hardcore falling for a dude. That did not work out. That's why we call him the boy every time I reference him in something. However, one of our friends, I was also really close to, and still am pretty close to. Mom then thought she and I were a thing. Only my friend turned out to be the bisexual, and then I was the straight one. But
the best friendships.
She thought we were a thing. The funniest part is a week after Mom asked me if we were a thing, to which I promptly went, "Mom, stop thinking I'm gay." We found out a week later that she and I were actually related.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We're like third cousins or something like that. So.
Oh shit.
So we were just like, "Ooh, good thing." Then I found out shortly after my mom passed. Now my mom's been gone for about 2.5 years now.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And a bunch of my family came down and spent the first week with me because I was going to be in this house alone, right? So they came and stayed with me, and one of them was my sister. And bless my sister, but she does not have a goddamn filter on her fucking mouth.
Mm-mm.
In any sense of the word. And we're talking about, I don't have a boyfriend yet, or whatever. And she goes, "Did you know we had a bet on you?" And I was like, "I'm sorry?"
I remember.
And she's like, "Yeah, basically our whole family bet if you were going to be gay or not." And I was like, "What?" Apparently something I did as a toddler had my whole family thinking I was going to end up gay. And then it disappointed them when I turned out straight, because then they all lost the bet. And I was like, "What did y'all bet?" And she goes, "Well, I said you were going to be bisexual. The rest of them said you were going to be full-on gay." And I was like, why does everyone think that?
I remember when you found this out. And you would come screaming to me.
The first person I told was Alexa. I was like, "Alexa, you will not believe what she just told me." I was distraught.
I was laughing so hard. I think there were definitely tears. That was so fucking funny to me.
I believe that was the day that we decided I was written by a bisexual, and that's why everyone thinks I'm bisexual.
Correct. Okay.
But I am, as I say, unfortunately straight.
Raven says, "I was also thinking about bombing this thing, but I refrained for the time being. Be glad that my attention is diverted to my game for a good portion, which has made it hard to follow up on such a bombing." I'm concerned what you mean by bombing. And I'm not going to have you elaborate.
I've bombed Alexa a few times. What's one more?
And I love you, Squid, but I feel like a lot of people at some point in time meeting you have thought that you were gay, just because you're so secure in your sexuality that you can make all of these jokes. But the fact that your mom also thought you were gay at some point, that is funny.
Is it just a Midwestern mom thing?
I guess.
To think their child is gay?
I have no idea.
You got a point. Damn.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Kate
says no because I too thought Squid was a little fruity. Oh my god. Oh no.
even though you did not ask me to elaborate, here you go. You know that my bombs consist of either donos or gift subs, and they say bomb is usually worth 25 subs and up. Yeah, you know, it's fine.
Yeah, no, give her another
Yo,
bomb. She
no. Kate has a point.
What's one more on top of like the 4 you've given her in the past?
No. No, no, no.
No, no, no. Oh my gosh. You know, the other thing, it's really weird because like I live in an area that is not the most equality progressive.
Right.
However, my parents raised me to be very equality progressive.
Mm-hmm.
He just gives off apple, you know?
Apple?
Anyway, we had a family from Ghana that moved to my area when I was in 3rd grade. Oh, basic bitch gay. Okay.
That's why I laughed.
Okay. They moved to this area from Ghana when I was in 3rd grade, and one of their sons was in my grade. And he was the sweetest guy ever. He and I have been good friends for years, basically since we met. Mm-hmm. And we did a bunch of music stuff together and all that, because we both did piano.
Yeah.
But, it was so funny, because my grandma, bless her soul, Grandma May, doesn't have a filter. Mm-mm. She's not racist in any way, but she doesn't use proper terminology or politically correct terms, mm-hmm. right? And, we went to one of my piano concerts one time, or my piano recitals, whatever. And we get in the car afterwards, and my grandma looks at my mom and goes, "Oh, well, that color boy did really well."
Oof.
Yeah. And my mom was horrified that my grandma had just said that. And I immediately popped my head, like I said, quick thinking, I'm a little shit. Popped my head in between the seats and I went, "What color, Grandma?"
Oh no!
I didn't understand what she meant. But my mom was like, "You know, at least I raised you right enough that you don't pay attention to skin color."
Oh my god.
And I was like, I never thought about it. It just never crossed my mind. He was just a kid in my class.
Oh my god.
And so then it was funny when we've gotten Salome used to living in America. Mm-hmm. There are some things, you know, I gotta teach her, make sure she knows, because America's very different from Africa. Mm-hmm. And so, like, we're getting her ready to move her to Chicago and getting her all this stuff, and she's like, "Why do I need to know this stuff?" And I was just like, "Listen, you just gotta know."
Yep.
And she's just like, "Okay." Oh my god, but the things that Salome has had to learn are some of the funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
She came up to me one day while she was living with me, looked me dead in the eyes and goes, "I'm gonna deck you." And I looked at her and I said, "The hell you aren't." And she kind of pauses and looks confused, because I'm like pissed that she just threatened to punch me.
Right.
I'm like, the fuck did I do to deserve to get punched?
Absolutely.
And she's like, "Why are you mad?" And I was like, "She just threatened to knock me out." And she's like, "No tackle hug." I'm like, "That's not what that means in America." I said, "I'm so glad you said that to me and not someone else."
Oh no. Oh my god.
That's just one of the stories. There's so many. But that's my favorite one to tell, is the having to teach her what decking someone meant.
Oh my god.
Because apparently to her and her brother it meant tackle hug.
Oh no.
I was like, no.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Not here.
Not here.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to think of other stories that aren't just like full on depressing. Because I have a lot of those.
I don't know, my life's just been a fucking comedy show.
I wish I could say the same. Damn. Mine's like the poster child for depression.
Oh my god.
High school was a mess, man.
Oh, see, that was middle school for me. Oh yeah, no, we're very tame kids.
We are.
Some of the kids I went to school with, oh my god. One of my girls that one of my high schoolers that I teach, oh my god, she'll come in and tell me about the things that are happening at her school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think two things. I think one, I'm so glad that she's a good kid.
Yeah.
And two, oh my god, I'm so glad I didn't go into public teaching.
Mm-hmm. They would have eaten you alive.
Mm-hmm.
The stupid stuff I did, there's mountains of that stuff. Oh no. I don't know. Like, yeah, I was pretty good two shoes. Though, like... I mean, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, of the times that, like, you know, because I was talking about how, kind of how my parents' parenting style is. And, like, if I didn't follow any of those rules or didn't, you know, wasn't honest about where I'd gone and didn't come home on time, like, consequence was big. Plenty of times that I was grounded for multiple weeks, either from certain things, or just in general. I will never forget, because, like, every now and then I would get grounded from, like, my Game Boy. Like, my mom would take my Game Boy away, right? Except after a couple months and, like, it being on and off taken away, the last time that she'd taken it away, I discovered where she was hiding it. I was kind of a monkey of a child, because I'm short, so I had to get creative on trying to reach things, and so I'd climb onto the counters to be able to reach higher things in the cupboards. Well, one of the cupboards that we didn't go into as often, or at least I didn't go into as often, was the spice cabinet, and up on the very, very top, behind this box, because I was curious about what was in the box. It was this box of knives. She had put my Game Boy. So when she wasn't home and Dad didn't know, or he wasn't around either, I would get it back in and play it until Mom came home, and I would rush and go put it back up there.
Oh my gosh. See, Raven, I was never like that, but I had a friend who was like that. Our first year at uni, she would consistently call me to come pick her ass up because she knew I would.
Yeah.
I told her one time, because she was like calling me at like 2, 3, 4 a.m., you know, and I'm someone who likes to sleep. You know, if it's nighttime and I have to be somewhere in the morning, I'm sleeping. And if you wake me up, I will be mad. And so finally I told her one time, I said, if you call me again, and it is past 2 a.m., I am taking you home to your mother, because we were both from the town we grew up in, and the college we went to was in the same area. So I told her, I said, I will take you home to your mother. She didn't believe me, apparently, because she called me a week later, drunk off her ass. So I called her twin. And I said, come with me to pick up your idiot sister. And we went and picked her up. And so I went, okay, call your mom, make sure she's awake. And he's like, wait, you were serious? I was like, yep. So I took her home to her mama. She stopped drinking after that.
Sometimes you need the wake-up call. I'm saying.
Well, it's hilarious, because now she works... Now she works in one of those companies that, like, sells those natural health products. You know, like they're like that. I put the stuff in your shake and it'll help you be like the healthiest person ever.
Pyramid
or whatever.
schemes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, she tried to give me. She's like, "Do you want to try it?" And I was like, "Do I look like someone that could that would be able to do that?" They did not believe me. Type of story I can deal in as well. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh.
I'm trying to think of any others.
I'm trying to think if there's any other like of noteworthy children's stories coming to my head.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I got shoved into a locker?
I feel like you did, but please reiterate.
So, this is middle school again because, you know, 6th, 7th grade was just so kind to me. It was, and this is why I was like, when you'd asked if I'd ever had detention before, I had asked like, kind of, but not really, because I was a terrible student, and so I was constantly stuck in like study hall. Not detention, but like study hall, because I fucked up.
Right. Right.
So one day I had, because there was study hall that I'd have during lunch occasionally, and then there was others so that it was like for 2 hours after school in one classroom. Like, you need to finish these things before you can leave, kind of deal.
Right.
And I don't even remember like what had provoked it, where they even came from, but I was heading out of the classroom because I needed to get my snack, because I was not about to get in trouble for the second time that day for not having a snack when I was supposed to. I can tell that story in a minute. So I was going to my locker to grab my extra snack that I'd packed for study hall, because it was in the same hallway as the study hall class that I was in. A bunch of jocks. I think they were all on the football team. One of them might have been on the basketball team. I don't remember. They were just all men I did not care to know. Had all shown up and decided it would be so hilarious to like legit like cartoon style like shove me into one of the lockers. Just thought that would be so funny.
Oh my God.
There was a broken locker, and it was about 4 lockers down from mine on the left-hand side. Everyone who like had a locker in and around this area knew that this one was broken. It was like dented in slightly down on the bottom. And so the staff would like never close it because it was really hard to get back open. So they would just leave it unlocked. So they opened up the locker, and mind you, like, lockers these days, like, you cannot fit any sort of human being in. But as I've reiterated, this school was built so long ago. It was originally, like, the original high school of the town. Like, very, very old. And so they were double lockers, so there was one above and one below. And they managed to shove me in enough to be able to close the door all the way. And I was stuck in. And I was stuck in that locker for over an hour.
Oh my God.
Because, like, I mean, like, they knew, like, I'm screaming. Like, it was pretty evident that I was stuck. I was found quickly. It was more about trying to find someone who could get me back out. I don't know why they didn't just call the fire department to come and get me out. I don't know why that didn't cross anyone's minds. There was only one person who had a key to this locker. Because ours could be unlocked by, like, the skeleton key on top of having the combination. Because the combination part was broken, but the key part worked. And there was only one janitor in the entire fucking school that had a key to this. Like, even the principal didn't have a fucking key. They had to find this janitor. They looked everywhere for this janitor. The janitor was not working that day. But he always left his keys at work. So they had to get into his locker, get his keys to come and get me out. And I remember Mom being so mad. But more than anything, like, everyone was mad at me and not the people that shoved me into the lockers. Like, the school was like, well, like, they were trying to come up with any sort of way, like, you shouldn't have provoked them or whatever. And I'm just like, the fuck are you talking about? I was walking to my locker to get my snack and then was proceeded to be shoved into a locker where I was stuck and no one would help me. My mom was livid. She was mad at me at first and then had heard the whole story because they had told her a different story first and was like, I'm sorry, what? So that was a whole big ordeal.
Hi, Mary.
I was very lucky that, like, I didn't come out, like, completely all scraped up. Like, I had, like, a couple scratches that were bleeding, but nothing was, like, super intense, because, like, I was crammed in there. Like, there was no moving. I just was crying and screaming and crying.
Right.
It was already a bad day, because a couple periods before that, I had my language arts and social studies teacher, and her name was Miss White, and we had kind of come to the conclusion over some time that, this was before we'd, like, actually figured out my diagnosis, but we thought that I was hypoglycemic, because it does kind of run in the family. My aunt is also hypoglycemic, with low blood sugar, and it had gotten to the point after... Oh, you know what it was? It was after the incident of me passing out in her class that she required that I bring a snack to class. Because I had her for 2 periods, and it was kind of like back-to-back kind of deal.
Right.
And so I was required to bring a snack to class. And that day, I had forgotten my snack in my locker. She came over with a fucking yardstick and had slammed it down on my desk. She's like, Alexa, where's your snack? I was terrified. I booked it so fast out of the fucking classroom. Went and grabbed my snack. I was like, never again. I never forgot my snack. Everyone was so shocked that she just did that. Because she was a stern teacher, but she was nice. And then she just, like, out of fucking nowhere, just like, bam! Like, slapped this yardstick on my fucking desk. Needless to say, the whole class was very quiet that entire time.
Oh, definitely.
We were like, somebody pissed in her coffee this morning. We are not.
We're not. We ain't messing with that today. Nah.
No.
Nah. No. Oh, God.
Oh. So yeah, no, just lots of depressing things like that. I can laugh about these things
so
now,
funny.
but
Right.
they are part of the trauma that makes me who I am today. So funny. I'm so good at the dark humor. Haha. The face that you're making of me right now. See, no, they were just like... I keep seeing all these things, they're just like, no, the trauma did not make me stronger. The trauma made me funny.
It's with trauma with humor!
Humor!
It's not most of our generation, though, coping with trauma with humor.
I did not notice my story after that did not go through Twitch doing its thing again when my message too long and I get no error. Oh no! The trauma made me clever. Hi, Miss Medley! You snuck one.
Oh, there you go. Hold on. Read the next one first.
Okay.
I think it's coming in slowly.
Let's see. A buddy of mine did not believe that stuff like Jägermeister makes me vomit on the spot. Like, it had not gone down... Let's see. Did it the wrong way around. Okay, that's fine. We figured it out. We figured it out. It had not gone down in full, and it was already on its way back up. I told him and said, we are going to be drunk and high as a kite tonight, so if you try and sneak in one of those with me, I'm going to vomit all over you. He snuck one in, and gracious, as I only vomited all over his shoes, but enough that they only burned the hose to get a little rid of it over again.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness.
Oh god.
Eee.
I feel like we should do, like, a part 2 next time.
I know.
Where we talk about, like, what are stories of things that have made us the way we are today?
Oh god, yeah. That's where high school comes in.
Yeah. Oh,
we
God.
mostly talked about, like, you know, like, legit childhood and, like, up through middle school. And I had, like, one story that was high school, but, like, high school, yeah. We could do a whole podcast just on high school alone.
Yeah. Well, and see, like, the crazy thing for me is most of the things that made me who I am today actually happened at uni and not at college, or not at high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was lucky that I was in a good mood and did not go through with my threat. only all over his shoes. Stares at Homestruck nonchalantly. Oh my goodness. Do we have any final stories to wrap up with?
Oh, I have one. It involves a cat.
Ooh, okay.
My grandmother has had several cats throughout her life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The one she had at the time that I was born was called Snickers. Now, Snickers was a little bitch of a cat.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted all of Grandma's attention, and no one else could have Grandma's attention. And if you had Grandma's attention, you were his worst enemy at that point. Now, you can imagine, as me being my grandmother's only grandchild ever,
mm-hmm.
that I would get a fair amount of attention.
Yes.
We moved down here. So I was born in the capital of my state, and then we moved down here to be close to my grandma when I was around 2. So little 2-year-old me is playing on the floor. I'm babbling, and I'm chatting away, and grandma's watching me because my parents are probably at work or something. I don't know. But anyway, as my grandma tells it, this cat is watching me from the shadows, like lurking and watching and waiting for an opportunity to make me pay for my crimes that I committed against him. Okay? I'm just sitting there playing, minding my own business, and this cat zooms through the room, stops right in front of me, lifts a paw, smacks me. Dead ass on the cheek, just flat out smacks me. And then bolts off because he knows he's going to be in trouble. And so then I start crying. And my grandma, like, pops her head around the door. She's like, "What's wrong?" I went, "Snickers slapped me!" And I'm just crying. My grandma thought it was so funny. To this day, she retold me this story, like, 2 days ago. Because she thinks it's that funny.
Mm-hmm.
In the midst of the dementia, that story still hangs on.
Oh my god.
So she goes, "Oh, Snicker was such a wonderful cat." And I went, "He was a bitch. He hated me."
Also,
So I would tease her about Snickers.
also that one time when a bud went and handed me a 0.5 liter pint of beer he ordered at our regular joint and went bottoms up. Well, to me, that was a call to empty the thing. I left in a pity sip at the bottom when I noticed that his face was turning pale at the speed of the pint was emptying. He looked at the pint, looked at me, back at the pint, and at me again, and was like, "You can't do that," to which I replied, "You said bottoms up." He would never do that again, unless he expected me to hand the thing back empty to him.
That's like my brother. He can down a shot of like straight vodka, not even flinch. I don't know how he does it.
I don't know either, because that just... I've not done a shot, and I don't think I ever will. No, thank you.
You can, with how you would, you know the stage of drunk that you get when you turn into like a giggly fucking mess, you would be that instantly after a single shot. Are you kidding me?
I think I would be. It would just, we'd go from like 0 to 100 real quick.
You would just be instantly, because your problem is like you don't fun fact about Alexa, she's not so much like a huge lightweight. It's just if she has enough in one span, it tanks and she is gone. And the problem is that her second drink, she's normally fine. It's the third drink that she somehow always makes overboard.
Me too.
Decides to drink it anyway, and then is gone for the rest of the evening.
It's quite unfortunate, but yes. Now, mind you, I don't drink very often. So the lack of restraint also in like how much there is, like, it's not normally a lot. Squid's seen this firsthand now a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can hand me, oh my god, my music, stop. Hand me a 1 liter bottle and I can empty it. Oh, that moved on me. You can empty it one fell swoop, not dropping it from my mouth once. Like, there's hardly a regular liquid containing vessel that is enough volume for me not to be able to empty it in one go. Oh my god. He, for whatever reason, did not expect me to be able to just down half a liter in one go. Oh my goodness.
I don't think most people would.
No. I don't know. I just put, like... Baby, I've been here the whole time just gaming too. Okay. Well, you'd only messaged me, like, a good chunk of the way in, so I didn't know. I don't know.
Oh, Meredith got super boards.
Oh. Just get the zoomies.
I just saw the look in her eyes. She is gone to the wind.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
To resurface from the void in 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah. She looked at me and went, and then booked it.
Oh my goodness. I do have another story from childhood. However,
here's your final story.
Yes,
then.
it is. However, it didn't happen to me. It happened to Corbin.
Give me the Corbin lore.
You need the Corbin lore. It's great. He was a baby, so I was about like 6 or 7 at this point. Maybe going on 8. And we were living in a 3-story townhouse at this point in time. Was when Corbin was born. And so I'll give some context for the layout of this 3-story townhouse, just so it makes sense. You would enter on the first floor, and you'd be greeted immediately by a flight of stairs. To your left would be another door, and that was the 3-car garage, but it was like 3-car single file. And then in the back there was like a little bonus room. That's not important to the story. But the laundry was down there. That is.
Okay.
So you'd go up these flight of stairs, and that would be to the like main living space. So you had kitchen, dining, living. and then you'd have to go all the way around, because the stairs were stacked. So they wouldn't just be like you could go from one stair to the other. You'd have to go up the stairs, go all the way through the dining and living room, to then go up the stairs again.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where my bedroom, Corbin's bedroom, we were sharing one at the time, because, you know, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then mom and dad's room. So I'm up in our bedroom, just coloring, chilling out.
Mm-hmm.
And mom was in the process of doing laundry. I don't remember where dad was at this point in time, but I remember distinctly hearing a loud thud, and I was concerned. I was like,
oh no,
that's not good. I didn't think much of it for a moment. And then after like a couple minutes, then I hear crying. I'm like, that's definitely not good. I go and grab mom, who'd been folding laundry in mom and dad's room, to go downstairs. And mind you, I think dad must have been watching something, because Corbin was down with dad on the second floor. And I think he must have been watching TV or something, because we had baby gates on both of these floors, so that like he could just like crawl and roam around on the second floor. What had happened was that Corbin, for whatever reason, decided to start like shaking the baby gate to the stairs that go down to the first floor, and it had come undone. And he surfed the baby gate all the way down the stairs. He came out pretty much completely unscathed, except for a little bonk right on his nose. And the only reason he was crying was because he couldn't get back up the stairs. He wasn't hurt, like he was fine. He got all checked out. No concussion, no nothing. Just a small little, like, rug burn on his nose.
So he was just crying because he wanted to go back up.
He couldn't get back up.
Oh.
I will never forget just knowing that my brother surfed down the stairs on a fucking baby gate. It was instilled in me for so long that I remembered writing about it and like illustrating a picture book in middle school for my reading class about it.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. Bouncing off of that, then I have one more story. My final story.
Yes.
Has to do with writing.
Core memory.
Because you said that, and it was like core memory unlocked. You should know this story. I've told this to you before.
Okay.
My school district decided the way to teach you how to write and how to spell was to have you try it phonetically first.
Oh god.
Savvy, I love you too!
Hi, Savvy!
So, you know, they said, pick a story, any story, and write it out by spelling all of the words phonetically. See, that's going to be a shit show from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, they're telling this story. They're having us write this story, and they tell the parents, they're like, we're going to send your kids home with these stories. They are doing it phonetically so that they can learn to try to sound out words as we teach them how to actually spell them. And my mom's like, okay, whatever, sure. I come home with my little 5-page story with pictures that I drew myself that I was so proud of.
Yeah.
And my mom picks it up and looks at it and is ready to, you know, like, praise me for doing so good. And then she looks down and she goes, Melissa, what does this say? And I replied, my cat's accident.
Oh.
Instead of that, I perfectly spell, my cat's a shit. Perfectly spelled it. Perfectly spelled, my cat's a shit. My mom called called my teacher, and she's like, "The hell are you teaching my child?"
Oh my goodness.
I still have it too, by the way. It still exists. I still have it. I found it when I was going through some of the stuff that Mom had tucked back from like my early childhood years.
You had told me about it when you found it. That's why I was like, this is very familiar.
Yeah, because I found it.
Yeah.
I was so excited when I found it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. We have told so many stories tonight.
We have.
Our plan for this is to try and do weekly on Saturdays. Mm-hmm. Because why not do just a casual Tuesday on any day but Tuesday?
Absolutely.
And Saturday seems to fit for both of our schedules the best.
Yeah.
So, what we would like you guys to do is, in our Discords, in general chats, if you guys have any ideas for topics that you want to hear us talk about, we'd love to hear them.
Yes, please.
We will plan to do this weekly, probably around the same time frame, unless something comes up.
Mm-hmm.
As well as, Alexa has very kindly, very graciously made a YouTube channel for us to post the VODs on. We will be posting both mine and hers, so that way you can watch both POVs, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know what your plan is, Alexa, for uploading that stuff. But
I think once we get everything downloaded and all of that, I will we can announce the YouTube, because I think it's currently on private.
Right.
But we will announce after we post the first VODs to the YouTube where you can find it and all of that. And so I hope that you all will join us for our weekly podcast, Just a Casual Tuesday.
Yeah. We decided we wanted to kick it back up and start doing it again.
Yes.
Because we not kidding, we have been joking about this for like half a year.
Yeah.
Of starting up the podcast again, and then just never have. And so we sat down this week. Well, actually, Alexa sits me down this week, and she goes, "Mel, we're doing it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Keep in mind, when she tells me this, she's like, "I've already made your overlay. Here's my overlay. This is what we're gonna do." I'm just like, "Okay."
I said, "So when?"
Yeah.
I kind of hyperfixated a little too close to the sun and made all these things. Yeah.
So, I feel like there's a couple more things we should say. You'll notice Blurp was not active for these streams. Blurp will not be active when we do podcasts, and neither will the fishing game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because of uploading onto YouTube. We don't want stuff with like the sounds and such.
Then we didn't want to be distracted by the fish.
Exactly.
We already have enough hard time trying to keep together our own brains, let alone being like, "Ooh, look, you got a cow!" Like,
you fished a cow, a whole damn cow.
Can't imagine.
Well, if you got two masters of procrastination, you need one of them to just do it to pull the other along. Guess that's just what happened.
Yeah.
The funny thing is normally it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Normally I'm the one pulling her along.
It's true. But I was like, nope, we're doing this. I already made all the things.
And I went, yes, ma'am.
It's gonna happen. Because we've joked about it for long enough.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, shall we give our goodbyes?
Yes.
Head off, let everyone enjoy their evening.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We have our normal stuff, Discord, other social links. Alexa's popping off on TikTok. Check her out. I'm trying to post more on my Instagram, and I'm also doing vlogging over on my own YouTube. Please check that out.
Yes, please.
I had to take a little break from the vlogs because of some stuff, but I am resuming it this week, and there will be a sit-down video that I'll be uploading as soon as I get finished editing it.
Exciting!
So, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We were really excited to start this up again, and I think it'll be fun to just have something to talk about every week and just kind of get to rant for a few hours.
Just chill style.
Exactly. So, thank you guys for joining us. I think we will head out now.
Yeah.
And leave you guys to enjoy the rest of your evening. And, Alexa, is there anything you want to add?
I think that's about it. Whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you guys are in the world, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you next Saturday.
Bye!